Yo, 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 what is going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, episode 524. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez. You're using another mic, by the way. Chris Seeley,
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Carlos Romero,
Yo, yo, yo.
and Richard Bailey Jr.
What's up, everybody?
All right, we're back with another one. Let's do a quick test. Manny, say something.
Oh, come on.
The brown fox jumps over the lazy dog's back.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, when you said kept you waiting, how you sounded like you were in another room.
It sounded like you wanted to keep us waiting.
Yeah,
It was probably using the tablet the tablet microphone. My
Stupid.
mic was unplugged for a second. You know what it does.
Yeah, it does that stuff. Discord, baby. You know how that goes. All right, man. We pretty much got the full cast here. Brian taking some time off, and Brett is still healing, but he's doing well, in case you guys are wondering. We already got heads in the chat. Syrian Air Force, Barry Burton holding it down. Some guy called Eurocar. We know that guy. All right, so we didn't get a lot of questions, so this might be a short episode. So if you had any more questions, gaming questions, that you want to ask us in the chat, fire them off, Let's start off here with Mr. J. Shep, who asks us 3 questions, and they're all about Xbox in some way, shape, or form. Now, this one's kind of interesting because earlier this week we found out that Forza Horizon 5 is going to require you to, if you're playing on PS5, you're required to log into your Microsoft account to play the game, which kind of makes sense, But here's his question. Should Forza Horizon 5 receive the same criticism on PS5 for requiring a Microsoft account as PlayStation games received on Steam for requiring a PSN account? Will the gaming community keep that same energy?
I think they should.
Yeah, but will they?
No, they won't. It's not the PC people we're talking.
Mm-hmm.
PC people are a lot more piffy about like things changing when it comes to this sort of stuff. So no, you won't hear that because it's not PC people making that complaint.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said it because Jay Shep says that. I want to quote him exactly because he had some kind of harsh words to say about PlayStation people in this regard. I was very surprised because he's a very PlayStation first guy. Let me see if I can find it here. The majority of here we go. The majority of PS players don't have a spine like PC players. So yeah, no, but I don't know if I 100% agree with that sentiment. But yeah, PlayStation guys are already used to signing into stuff. Console guys in general just used to dealing with more stuff than PC guys. Like Manny said, PC guys don't play around, bro.
Yeah, if you start making people having to see, the thing is with a closed system, you can dictate however you want people to do things because it's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
Right. Especially when you go into the realm of PC, when you said, okay, no, you just play the game and it's all good. Oh, now you gotta, that thing should have also been like, PC people don't like when you change, you start moving goalposts around, right? Again, the console gamers are like, all right, that's the way it goes.
Yep.
I'm gonna put it in.
Yeah, I mean, it's also a combination of different factors as well. Number one, like Manny mentioned, it's the PC one, which is probably the biggest one, biggest factor of them all. Number two, it's an old game. Forza Horizon 5. I doubt PlayStation people really care that much about it, to be honest. The only reason they would care about it is for, console war ammo. Number three, Helldivers 2. If you remember, Helldivers 2 launched without that issue or without that feature.
Yeah.
So and it was a huge hit. So it was a huge hit that you didn't have to sign in, and all of a sudden they're making you sign in. So it's that also thing. And with Forza Horizon 5, it's an old game on PlayStation that they're letting you know off the bat that you have to sign into Xbox to do it. So you're just not going to have that same reaction for all these different factors. And that's why to answer the question, I don't think there should be that same energy, because it's really not apples to apples. Even though I do understand that the concept is quite similar, and it's at the end of the day, it's getting into the same question, which it is pretty controversial. I understand why Microsoft's doing it, but I'm not the one that would get, go hell over high water for, complaining about signing into Xbox. Although I would understand if someone would want to complain about it.
Yeah, but do you think people are going to complain though?
Well, if they're going to complain, but they're not going to complain because they care. They're going to complain because, it's like it's a whataboutism in terms of the greater conversation. I think if people are,
or do you think,
people are hyped to put,
I guess I should say, do you think it'll be on the same level as Helldivers, where websites are reporting on it left and right because there's just crazy protests and
it won't even be a speck compared to the Helldivers backlash. Like I mentioned, all the other factors that are not in play for this one, and if people are hyped to play Forza Horizon 5, all couple, I'm not seeing this as a $5 million seller.
No,
Helldivers 2 or Helldivers 2 was millions of copies sold that people were enjoying before the change happened. It's going to be, hundreds of thousands maybe. We'll see. And people who really are amped to play Forza Horizon 5 on their PlayStation probably don't really care about signing in.
Yeah. That's my stance. They're already used to signing in anyway, not only to Microsoft, but also EA, whatever. Like
Capcom.
Capcom. They're used to doing this stuff. So I don't think no one's going to care. Again, PC players are built different. It's just the reality. I still remember when, I forgot what game it was, but this was years ago, over 10 years ago, easily, where some game tried to introduce like, subscription model, just like, PSN and Xbox. Bro, PC gamers weren't having it at all. And this is why till this day, games that you do need to pay to play online on consoles, you don't have to do it on PC because PC guys won't stand for it, It's an interesting thing.
When it comes to dealing with different types of crap, console gamers, like you guys have talked, throughout the history of this show, console gaming is a lot more streamlined, and that's why people like it. PC gamers, it's not streamlined at all.
Yeah.
At least, it's getting better, but they have to go through hurdles to do different things like, driver updates, building components and stuff, upgrading. But they pay a lot for their pieces. So, when it comes to the simple things like paying for online or signing up to different services to play a video game, that's where you're going to get the outrage.
Yeah. Sirius says Microsoft implemented this for Sea of Thieves for PS5, and we didn't hear shit. Nobody said a damn thing, and that game sold very well on PS5, and nobody complained about signing in either. So I expect we're going to see history repeat itself. It's interesting stuff. All right, moving on. Another one from Mr. J. Shep. According to Jez Corden, there is no development kit for the next Xbox. It's just a TV-friendly shell coming in 2027. What are your guys' thoughts? Yeah,
TV-friendly what? Sorry?
TV-friendly shell. Basically, we've been saying this. We've been saying this, bro. I don't know how many times we need to say we've been saying this, but we've been saying this.
Yeah, it's not going to be a thing. It's just going to be whatever. To be honest, it'll maybe a minor upgrade to whatever's out there, or even then, it may not be anything. They might just be developing games for just for whatever hardware. They're probably in general. I think they're probably just going to they're just going to sell you a streaming box.
That's what I think. Again, we've been saying this. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised, if they do sell you some kind of streaming box like the Google one or whatever,
Roku.
I mean, even Google's thing is not. Even Google's thing is not like there's no console. It's just
that's what I'm saying. Just plug it in. That's it.
You just plug it into the
Stadia?
side, and
Stadia. Yes.
Yeah, it's
That's
gonna
my question.
probably be, if anything, like if they want to make it look like a console, maybe put a little top box that looks
Teh.
like something there. But to be honest, I think it's just gonna be just a streaming device and a controller. That's what they're gonna sell you.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. We're not saying
And these
that is going to happen. We're saying we wouldn't be surprised. Go ahead, Carlos.
and these reports are for this next iteration, right?
Yeah.
This next
For the next box.
Damn.
Yeah.
The next
that's
box.
interesting. The next box, yeah.
But I would think even if it was streaming, you would still need a dev kit, because even if you were going to use Azure to implement all your software, right? There's new developers coming along all the time. What are they going to use, right? You're not going to give them an X dev kit.
Yeah.
You have to give them something, right? And then if you do a system like Apple does with the App Store, like you submit your artifacts and stuff, and it gets approved and it goes on the cloud, you still got to build it somehow. So it's kind of weird to me. I understand. I agree with what you're saying with the set top box, and it's just a streaming device. But the games got to live somewhere. They got to live on the cloud. You got to make the games.
Yeah,
So
you have
gotta
to make
it
the
with
games. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. Yeah.
My
So,
best guess,
go ahead. Go ahead. Good.
it would probably be a PC equivalent development. If
Yeah,
that
but
were the
there's
case.
something they would give them. Like you can't
Yeah.
just say like there's no development kit. There is some sort of development kit. It's just not a standard one. You're not
Mhm.
developing against a system anymore. Like Carlos said, you'll get PC, you'll get an ID, you'll get some APIs, you'll get some libraries to build a game. But when you submit it to Microsoft, it's now going on Azure, right? And then it's gonna stream. It's not gonna be in a, well, I guess it'll be on Game Pass or whatever, their digital store, the same shit. But it's not gonna run on the system anymore. It's gonna run in the cloud.
Yeah. Again, we'll see. But that's what that's what he's saying. So we'll see. Yeah. Basically, no development kit. It's just a TV friendly shell. Very
That's
interesting.
Mr. Xbox reporting this.
Yeah, that's Mr. Xbox. Yeah. From Windows Central. So
I guess no more holding the line there.
Yeah, they had no. They're not holding the line. I mean, crap gamers stopped holding the line years ago.
Uh-oh.
Things are interesting. There's my LG going off.
Uh-oh.
All right. So yeah, I mean, again, rumor. So there's not really much we could say, or insider leak.
I will say this. I would be surprised if they didn't release at least one more console. It just seems too soon. I just don't feel like the infrastructure is just quite here yet. I understand that it's really good now compared to when the generation launched. But maybe the streaming box I can see as a supplementary, and then eventually just becomes a thing. But I don't know. I just don't see it. At least if it's 2027, it's 2 years from now. I just don't see it.
Here's something to take into consideration. Sarah Bond came out, like, what was it, last year, I believe? She said the next Xbox will be like the most powerful thing ever. The usual line, right? So
Yeah.
I'm kind of combining things. Like, I think maybe they're going to do both, Carlos, like you kind of hinted at. You have an actual console, then you have this thing,
And that's the cheap version.
And that's the
kinda
cheap
thing.
version,
That's
the
the
cheap
S,
streaming
no?
version. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Sarah Bond's gonna be like, yeah, our next console is gonna be the most powerful console ever. It's gonna be powered by 3 Mile Island.
Oh, shit.
Oh, man.
Damn.
The
I mean,
data
maybe. But yeah, again, they were doing the usual Xbox thing where it's like, this is going to, eat monsters. Remember that shit? So we'll see about that. So I think, again, not we're speculating on fucking speculations, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get like an actual real console. Remember, they already said they're working on a console that came out during the whole Activision brouhaha. They are working on an actual console. So I wouldn't be surprised if they have the real console, for the hardcore extreme gamer, and then you have the set-top box.
Yeah.
Yeah. So So we'll see.
That's the one that makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. And unlike Nintendo, Microsoft does things that actually make sense, or that we could predict in some kind of way,
Nintendo.
El Nintendo, All right. Yeah, Chris, what do you think about that?
Oh, the set top. I agree.
Yeah, like
I
both,
agree, a hybrid release, because you have they did the series, right? So
Yeah.
whatever they call the next Xbox, right? The Series S is just literally the streaming box, right? And then the X equivalent, whatever they call that, that's the console, right? They'll have hardware in it, actual hardware. And and it could support both. If you opt for the higher end option, you can still stream your games and play them locally. But the other one, you're just playing off the cloud. You're gonna have to risk a Stadia experience.
All right. And the last one from J Shep. And J Shep actually showed up in the chat. So J Shep, I'm glad you're here for this because I have some questions about your question. He goes, a known YouTuber, doesn't say any names, he goes, a known YouTuber recently stated that Xbox buying Activision was pointless. What are your thoughts? And again, since you're in the chat, can you give us the context for why he said that? Because I would like to know some context here. But without context, do you think it was pointless, guys? Manny, I'll go to you first. Oh, Carl's already talking. Go ahead. Yeah.
I don't think it's pointless. We'll see how the venture ends up, but in terms of what they wanted, they succeeded, and they wanted to be the biggest publisher in the world. They wanted to get a bigger market share of video game creation in the video game industry, and they've accomplished that with the Activision deal. Having control of Call of Duty and those games, it gives them a stronger foothold in the industry than they previously had. Where they take this, we'll see. But at least in terms of what the initial goal has been, I feel like it was a successful one. Regardless of what you think of the quality of the games that they've been releasing or some of those other strategies that they've been doing, I feel like their sort of initial mission statement for this acquisition has been accomplished. Phase 1, let's say.
Yeah. Real quick. So it was Destin who said it. J Shep says, I assumed you guys saw it, so I didn't read the whole thing. In general, I've said this before, I don't watch that guy. I generally do not watch video game content on YouTube. I actually kind of avoid it. Unless it's some like people making fun of Veilguard or shit like that. Like generally, I don't really watch YouTubers for gaming news. I'm the gaming news. I know how to get news already.
I am the captain.
I'm the captain. I don't need to watch a YouTuber tell me the fucking news when I'm the fucking news guy. And again, it's like these guys. I'm sorry, I'm keeping it real. They don't present the news as good as we do on Throwdown, baby. So why am I going to watch these guys? So in general, if you ever see something that like Greg Miller and his posse says, or any of these big guys, just give me a little context, because I don't watch any of these fucking people. I don't care,
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I don't give a shit about these people. I'm just being honest. These are the same people, and I'm being real right now. And I'm not just saying this right now because I'm being petty, right? And this is not the reason I don't listen to them, because I really just do think they're boring. But these are the same people who think they're better than everybody. You go to fucking E3, they don't even give you the time of day and shit. I don't mess with people like that. They're fake. Ryan McCaffrey's another one.
I mean, I don't know. Greg was pretty nice to me when the few times that I met him.
Yeah, he was all right to us, admittedly, although, we saw what happened, what he did to his best friend, but that's a whole other story. But in general, I don't really care. I don't really care about these people. However, if you ever ask us about Digital Foundry stuff, I do watch that, because that's the stuff I like, because those guys are just giving you the, their nerdy take on shit. Very interesting. I was watching some of their stuff, Manny, about PSSR and kind of their general, their change of heart over the PlayStation 5 Pro. I don't know if you've seen some of that stuff. I know I'm going off topic, but we only got like 3 more fucking questions, so I'm puffing out a little bit. Basically, remember,
I mean,
Manny,
they
when
were
it first came
they
out
were
with
singing
this?
they were singing the praises of that thing.
They were, but now, and one of the episodes I saw, it was like from 2 weeks ago, a fan asked them, hey, how come your opinions change on PlayStation 5 Pro? And they had admitted, it's like, yeah, Final Fantasy was really impressive, but after that, haven't really had anything that's impressing us so far. And they even said, it's like, yeah, you don't really need this console, which is true.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, Destin, I went off on a rant. Oh yeah, I agree. To quote, or paraphrase Rich, I agree with everything Carlos said.
Get that trash out of here.
Like that was basically, that's why it's like they accomplished their goal of becoming a third-party developer. Remember, they were the biggest third-party developer last year, so I consider that a success. Now, whether you are an Xbox and you don't consider it success because now your favorite company is no longer autonomous, that's a different story. But I don't think it was a failure. They accomplished their main goal of securing Call of Duty. Now they're making money off of PlayStation guys.
I think the thing about it is that, like, if they were in it, and obviously there probably was definitely some sort of definitely a pivot when essentially they said, all right, Call of Duty is, because I fully expected them to essentially just close the door on Call of Duty. That was until
that's what I thought too.
Sony, because that would have sold them consoles. If you could associate it's only, you look at it the way it was before, when it was just the simple association with Xbox or with PlayStation caused people to run to those consoles because it was an assumed idea that that's the only console it's on, even though it's on everything. So I think when that situation happened, with Sony, I think they pivoted and said, you know what? Why don't we just say, whatever to the console and just go multi, and just like, all right, we're just releasing all of our things everywhere. And to be honest, software is king. Software always has been king. That's part of the reason why Sega survives today, because their console business just went up, and they're like, okay, the best thing we can do is just offer these things on everything, and this is what's going on with Microsoft. So, no, I think they're a success because of this. This pretty much was the shot to the arm that their games division needed.
Yeah, no, I agree. And again, their goal is not to sell consoles. If their goal was to sell consoles, then yeah, they should have locked it down. But that's not their goal. They said they want to get as many people as possible on Game Pass. And right now, it looks like it hasn't been pointless. Obviously, we'll have to see how this pans out years down the line.
To quote to quote Gamertag Radio in their great interview that they recently did with
Peter Moore.
Peter Moore, they don't want to be doing they would have cut consoles years ago because they want to do software. They always wanted to do software.
Yep. There you go. By the way, see again, sometimes, when they have specific people on, I will watch Gamer Tag Radio as well. But I'm also supporting the homies too. But generally speaking, I don't really care too much. Here's the thing. I like gaming content if it's from guys like us that keep it real and shit. Like guys like Destin and Greg Miller and all those guys. They're all like, they're not paid off. I don't subscribe to that bullshit. But they played the game very well, if you know what I mean.
There are a lot, like, it's like handed to Gamertag Radio for asking those legitimately difficult questions to these guys. They got Phil on one, and they got Peter Moore on a bunch of them, because Peter Moore ain't got nobody to he's not reporting to anybody at Microsoft anymore, so he could just say these things. But I find it amazing that all these outlets and these YouTubers and stuff are doing all these kind of jump off content off of these things, when those motherfuckers could have just called this guy up and had them on their show.
That's a good point. You're right. This is now the second time where they interview a big guy and everybody's quoting the fucking episode. It's like, why didn't you reach out to Peter Moore?
Yeah, like but what big New York, big article, big company may have a, like a media company that does gaming and stuff like that. Can't call up Peter Moore and ask him these difficult questions. Can't call up Phil Spencer and ask him difficult questions. Or is it that they have to play the game and they can't do those things?
They have to play the game, And Gamertag Radio's in that nice spot where they're very, very high up there, but they could play the game their own way. Remember, here's the thing. People go, that was a bunch of softball questions. Paris flat out asked them, why should I buy an Xbox if I can play the games on PlayStation? Yes, Phil Spencer didn't answer it to your liking, but the question was asked. None of those other guys would ask that fucking question. None of them
They
would.
wouldn't have never touched it. They wouldn't have touched it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but anyway, and I know we're kind of mixing a bunch of subjects here, but yeah, in my opinion, I don't think it was pointless the acquisition. At least for now, we'll have to see, in a few years' time. But at least initially, that first year, it was a success.
Yeah.
What do you think, Carlos?
Syrian Air Force asked the question.
Yep, I got him. Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yep, I got that one next. So, Segway Kings. All right, Syrian Air Force, another question for us. Hey, guys, which initial reveal was more devastating? The PS3 price reveal or the Xbox One reveal? The Xbox One reveal for sure, Because think about it like this, right? The PS3, that reveal was not good. Get another job, all this shit. But at the end of the day, at the end of the generation, the PS3 beat the Xbox 360 in global sales, right? The Xbox never recovered from that Xbox One reveal. Never. Mm-hmm. That killed the brand effectively. It was a year later where they started porting their fucking games to PC, and that's when it began. There was so much that happened, right? Xbox One was revealed, right? Announced, and they're like, yo, why is this fucking thing so expensive? I forget the exact price, but it was very expensive. And they were like, why don't you just not have Kinect? That'll bring the price down. Microsoft was like, no, Kinect is an integral part of the system. We need to have it. Bro, like fucking 4 months later, they drop the Kinect, the price goes down,
Yeah,
I think
it was literally $100 more for this silly camera thing.
Yeah, exactly. Then you had no games for or not even no games, but games people didn't care about. All the big franchises took a nosedive. The Halo that came out in that system, people didn't care for. I think it was Halo 5, Gears 4, people didn't care as much for. The Forza games were like the only shining light. During that time. Mm-hmm. And you could argue they still kind of are. But yeah, dude, I'm telling you, go back, Tony's take from like fucking 8 years ago. I talked about, it was like the 5th anniversary or something of that reveal. And I said, Xbox has never recovered. I said, the only hope they have is with a new console. And that didn't happen either.
Oh, yeah. It's like the thing about it is it's like, having a weak group, like the thing about it is that they also were never able to pull themselves out of that downward spiral.
Nope.
Prove to people why you should have it. I mean, when Sony had that like those first few years of PlayStation, when those were the most difficult things because you're having ports of games that look worse than the supposed the weaker console, right? You have like. They have weak starter of first party games. You just have all these things working against it. But what did they do? They focused on inward and it said, all right, we're going to start pushing our own shit. Okay, we'll do this. We're going to do this. Try to get these things out there. And they essentially pulled themselves right out of it. Now, you wonder what is so wrong with Microsoft to where they have to buy another studio, buy a bunch of other studios because their internal studios can't handle it, or is there too many people on the upside just having too much to say about things that they shouldn't?
No, that's a good point. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, my bad. I didn't know you were not finished. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's like like maybe there's a lot more oversight over at the house of at the greenhouse over there, and maybe that's what's preventing a lot of the big things from happening. There was an interview a while ago with the previous head of Xbox. I think it was during the time of Peter Moore and all that stuff, when they were effectively trying to capture more titles, right? Capturing like, okay, we got an RPG, we got a this, we got a that, legitimately going out and hiring or getting in with these other developers, and essentially like well-known developers, to make games for them, to try to at least pull themselves out of this sort of this pull them, in other words, expand the space that they are in. One of the things obviously they signed up was Halo and all a bunch of other things, but at the same time, it's like, why didn't, and he even said at the time, it's like once they hit their thing, they just stopped having interest in everything else, and it just became about focusing to Halo and then obviously Gears of War after that. So it's like, what we've said this for years, Microsoft doesn't if it doesn't have the hardcore console ideal idea of what it was, right, for many years, what does it have? It needs to redefine its identity in order to be able to pull itself out of the spiral.
Can I bring up a different point and perspective on this question? The interesting thing about all of this is, in my opinion, they were kind of both equally as bad. Obviously, one led to vastly different results in the outcome, but I want to mention this aspect and this perspective. When the Xbox One was announced, it was at the height of the console war. So when Xbox One was unveiled and Don Matrick and his smirk came out and busted out the TV sports presentation, the PlayStation community was ready to drag it to the fucking ground, and they were ready with all the videos and all the making fun of Xbox and all that stuff, and there was already a machine ready to bring that down and talk shit about the Xbox. When the PlayStation did it, they were at the height of their game. They were coming off they're still during the PlayStation 2 era, where they had a stranglehold on the industry. Not even Nintendo was anywhere close at that point. So there wasn't as much blowback on the PS3 side of things, especially the second job. If the second job thing came out during the Xbox One days, or even today, that would get a lot more blowback than it did back then. And back then they got a lot of blowback. So I feel like that's one perspective that I feel like should be, because most people weren't paying that much attention during back then, but we did. So in terms of the PlayStation stuff, it was really bad. The Xbox stuff was really bad, but the Xbox stuff had a lot bigger smear campaign. That's why I feel like it even affected it even more. Because if you remember, and Tony always mentions this as well, they said that this conference was not going to be focused on video games.
Yeah,
and
the reveal. Yes, that's right.
The reveal wasn't going to be about video games. There was going to be another one wait for E3. That was going to be all about the games, but that didn't matter. The smear campaign was already out for them, and quite frankly, it was a really memeable event to make fun of. So they didn't help themselves with what they did. Yeah.
Oh, because I know J Shep, he's not as in tune with this stuff or has lived with it as long as us, even though he's generally around our age. So I like his questions. He goes, and let me finish it too, because I know somebody's going to try to jump in and, remind me, there was no social media in the Xbox One days. Where did the console wars take place and how did it take off? Oh no, social media was around in 2013, bro. Twitter was fully active, Facebook, YouTube, websites, it was all Reddit. And this site is still around too, but it was way bigger before N4G, right? Remember N4G? not for gamers, as I like to call it. Social media, again, we were all there, bro. We were all on Twitter. It was fucking chaos, bro. As a matter of fact, it was because of that, not 100%, but a good reason why the Xbox community hates me is because of that reveal. My reporting on it, they were on my ass on Twitter, bro. And in the comments and on Throwdown. Throwdown was around back then. We covered all of that shit. Social media was alive and healthy back then, bro. And, that definitely, and Carlos, this is to your point, that did exacerbate things because when the PS3 was around, social media was around too, but not to the same level. It was not as purely established yet. And also, like you said, there was nobody was waiting for PlayStation to fall, to destroy it. Those PlayStation guys were ready for fucking Xbox. They were waiting for a whole generation,
because of all the bad blood that happened initially for the PS3.
Yep.
You literally had well-known developers saying that the console was awful.
Gabe,
the worst. Gabe Newell.
Yep.
Literally went out and quite a bit of other ones saying publicly that this is a worst console ever created for developers. Yada yada, whole big rigmarole. You didn't get any of that with the Xbox. You didn't have developers saying, "Oh no, this is an awful console. I'll never do anything for this thing." No, they didn't do any of that stuff. All of this bad blood that started from the beginning, where it was like the reveal of the controller, like what's that fucking boomerang thing? Oh man, what the fuck is this price? Oh man, well this thing is fucking is difficult. It's supposed to be the most powerful console ever. What it's a fucking bitch to develop for? All this shit that was against it at the beginning, and they still managed to pull ahead of Xbox.
Now we're going in history,
which was a thing.
Yeah, the battery. No, we're going in history right now, bro. Because back then in 2006, when the console was announced and revealed and stuff, social media was leveled out. All that shit really happened on forums and shit. And YouTube was just starting. Forums was a big deal. Thank the NeoGAF is huge. And Senator, thank you for pointing this out. Carlos, I know you remember this well. I'm pretty sure everybody in this podcast remembers well. Final Fantasy 13 announced for Xbox. The internet broke in half. That shit was crazy. The videos that came out, motherfuckers talking about they want to commit suicide, they want to bomb fucking Square Enix. Like shit was crazy back then. And 4G was nuts. The Warzone was covering all that shit back then, Bro, Jason, you're taking me back down to the memory lane. I remember all this shit vividly. We were all there. We were all living it. But yeah, that is a very good point to point out. When the PS3 stumbled, nobody really was there to. Nobody had been waiting years to go. All right, let's fucking get these assholes finally. But that was what was happening when the PS3 came out. It was smeared so hard. Those PlayStation guys remembered that. They resented that shit.
Oh, yeah.
So when the Xbox finally fell, they're like, here's our time. Let's get these motherfuckers. Well, and that's exactly what happened.
It didn't start there, remember? So, and going back to another smear campaign at the PlayStation, remember, the PlayStation has no games.
Yeah, no games.
That was a song.
Yep, that was.
That was a song. And then it all turned in 2008, when Metal Gear came out, and then later on, Uncharted was already out. That's when the sentiment with PlayStation started to change, and the Red Ring of Death came out.
Oh,
and
yes.
When the Red Ring of Death came out, that was really the beginning of the end in a way for Xbox.
Yeah, and Assyrian Air Force said this in the chat, and very good point. Xbox 360, it came out strong, bro. Very strong.
Really
and it tapered off. I think you're right. After Red Ring of Death, it never really recovered. Yet what was happening with the PlayStation side? They fucking stumbled and shit, and then they picked themselves up, and then they lapped them, in the end. Not in America, though. Not in America, though. In America, Xbox 360 still won at the end of the day. But this is how I learned about, guys like Hip Hop Gamer and Torrance, right? Hip Hop Gamer was one of the few people defending the PS3, Torrance was, obviously not, but, that's what made the Warzone special back then. But yeah, the Red Ring of Death, bro, motherfuckers were just buying consoles and shit over and over. And
Yep.
this is a theory Manny and I have, that a lot of the sales for Xbox probably attributed to dudes buying 2, 3, 4 fucking consoles. You know?
Yeah. To where it became such a, because those guys rushed the console to the market, which they did get a head start on everything, right? But at the same time, the constant roll through of those of people just rebuying consoles or sending them back. You remember the Xbox coffin, the 360 coffin and all that sort of stuff. So
look at Jay Shep. He bought 2 fucking consoles, bro. Look at that.
Adam can tell you how many coffins he had.
I got like 5 of them.
Chris,
yep.
too. Yeah, like you had,
and
what was
I
it?
even refloated twice. They wouldn't do it anymore, so I bought. I had 2. I had 3 total.
Shit.
Yeah. I have your Master Chief one.
Yeah, that's right. That's the one we kept going back to Chinatown. Remember, went to the place.
Yeah, we kept
and
X
he wouldn't
cubicle.
do it anymore. He's like, no, it's a shot.
Yeah, this thing's bad. It's dead. Yeah.
Yeah, Chris, you have any thoughts about that time?
With what 360?
Yeah, with the 360, PS3, Xbox One, all that,
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Like Xbox started off so strong that they even managed to outpace the Red Ring of Death stuff, and they still had strong sales. And plus, I think the 360 early on, not the later interface, but the interface, like early and midway, was fantastic. Like those quick menus and all this stuff. Fucking
the blades.
Chef's kiss. Yes, the blades were amazing, right? Xbox One's fucking interface is god awful. It's like janky as shit. It's horrible, and they probably let the Windows guys do it. That's why it's you got to use tiles and arrow. Like, no, it's stupid. Yeah, and PS3, like they stumbled early because it was the whole the price was the sticking point in the beginning, and they're like, yeah, you could get another job. Like, no, that's not the right messaging. And but they picked up pace through that generation. So, and they both had great libraries, right? They both had great libraries, and it's just that while Xbox stumbled and fell because Red Rings, and I think it was something like 50% of the 360 systems purchased were Red Ringed. Like,
it was a lot,
right? So imagine all of those guys. Like Manny says, if you have half of your sales base buying 2 or more systems eventually, right? Because either you're sending it back to Xbox, but they cut that off. There was like 90 days, or I forgot how many days they gave you to RMA it, right? After that, you're not doing it. So you have 2 choices. Either somebody can reflow it, or you're buying a new system. And many of those guys buy new systems. So that's a lot of extra sales off the same people.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. Man, I could tell you stories. I could remember all this shit so vividly, man. That was an interesting time for sure. Anyway,
also
go ahead.
Just want to bring up the point that you made with hip hop.
Yeah.
Back then there was a handful of guys on YouTube that were pro PlayStation.
Yeah,
like a handful. Like everyone knew who they were, and hip hop was one of the first, and that's how I got to know him.
Yo, what was the name of that one dude? His name was Chad or something. He kind of looked like Mexican and shit, and he was like the PS Triple. What was that dude's name, man? That guy was funny, man. Always talking shit about Xbox.
I don't remember him, but I remember hip hop, and was it BBD or DBB?
I remember, I remember that.
The E3 committee guy.
The E3 committee.
The E3 committee.
Yo, I'll tell you, man, that's how I really got into, like, I guess, internet gaming community. Because before that, the main way I knew, I kept up with games was magazines and G4, right? And the homies, obviously. But like when I got the PS3 in 2007, like early 2007, after they finally lowered the fucking price, I was also coincided when I finally got high-speed internet. And I just started looking around. And that's when I started, going to gaming websites, checking out gaming podcasts and shit. So, like, I've been in it for a long time, bro. Like most of us have, if not all of us. That's how I learned about, guys like, Hip Hop, Torrance, the Coalition, Dual Shockers, and those are the guys I liked. I like the raw shit. Like I was like, oh, these guys are like me. It's not just a bunch of not to sound racist, not just a bunch of fucking white guys. So that was kind of refreshing. Like they talk like the gamers I grew up with. Not like we're gonna all that bullshit. But even back then, IGN and Kotaku and those sites, they were still not as stodgy as they are now. They were still more freewheeling. They still enjoyed themselves. They were still for the gamers. Very different time back in 2008, 2007, around then.
I mean, even I will say this: even in the early 2010s, we talk shit about Kotaku.
Oh yeah, Kotaku shit. Because
they've always had that reputation.
They kind of they. It was around that time where they made that kind of turn. It's like, yo, Kotaku, what the fuck's going on right now? Yeah, definitely around 2010. Kotaku shit, as Torrance named them. Shout out to Torrance, man. Great question, man. That sent us down memory lane. And I hope you guys learned some history.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like all you see now. Think about it. Like most of us on here, actually not. It's specifically me, Manny, Chris, and to some extent also Carlos, but Rich was kind of back there as well. Torrance started Shut the Fuck Up and Play in 2012 because people were on social media too much talking shit. Nothing's changed.
Yep.
This was in 2012, J. Shep. Things haven't changed. This shit that you see now has been going on all this time, bro. So
we are doomed to repeat all the mistakes of the past over and over until people learn.
Yeah, pretty much. It's
Shut the fuck up and play.
Shut the fuck up and play. That is a very relevant fucking term, because that was the whole thrust. Shut the fuck up, get off Twitter, and play some video games. Literally, we were saying that in 2012, bro.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed, man. War never changes, as they say in Fallout. All right, man, let's move it on here. Mr. Illustrated Dio, one of us speaking about old school. That guy's one of our original fans, And we've had the pleasure and delight of hanging out with several times, Good guy. All right, first up here, change of pace right now, bro. Who are your top 5 favorite gaming developers right now? So for him, he says it's Capcom, SNK, Insomniac, FromSoft, and Atlas. Those are very good. I think 3 of those are definitely mine. Capcom number 1 for me for sure. Capcom is shit.
I thought you meant game developers like people, but he means studios.
Yeah, studios. Yeah.
Yeah, developer studios.
Yeah, I actually read it too fast. Yeah, he specifically did say studios. But yeah, Capcom for me, absolutely Capcom. Number 1. Insomniac, they've basically been carrying the PS5 this generation. Let's just be honest. And I also agree with FromSoft. I can't think of any others. I'm pretty sure there are. Oh, Sega. Sega's fucking dope. The Yakuza games. So Sega's doing their thing. That's all I can. There might be another one, but yeah, those 4 for sure. For me, yeah. What about the rest of you guys?
I mean, there's a lot of. I think most of it is overlap with me. I mean, Capcom, Insomniac, Sega, because Sega has
FromSoft,
a whole FromSoft, and trying to think of a 5th one.
Yeah, see, if this was like back in the days we were just talking about, think about it like this, bro. This is how long Throwdown's been around, right? Because we were asked a similar question. Like, who was your favorite current developer? You know what answer I actually gave almost 10 years ago? People were shocked.
A bunch of Sony ones.
It was I said EA.
Mm-hmm.
I said EA,
shit.
BioWare and shit. All these other dope games that EA used to put out. None of that shit exists anymore. I also would have said Ubisoft. Assassin's Creed, fucking Prince of Persia when those were coming out, when we still had Splinter Cells, Rayman. But these companies aren't putting out. Not only are they not putting out those games, but they're putting out versions of those games that suck. It's funny that the only one of those I named was Insomniac, was the only American one. the world's I call it the world's correcting itself. The Japanese used to rule the roost when it came to video games. Now it's kind of going back to that. But we got other Asian countries coming in too, which is very cool. You know. Anyway, what about?
It's also difficult to answer this question because a lot of studios only release one game per decade or or two games per decade. So it's like, can I really say like someone like Sucker Punch when they released their last two games was Ghost of Tsushima 5 years ago, and before that it was Infamous
Can't
Last
say
Light or something.
Can't say Rockstar.
Yeah, right.
I would have said Rockstar. Would have said Rockstar. Back in the day, but they don't make games anymore.
Yeah, they've made two games in the last 12 years.
They make shark cards.
Yeah.
They make shark cards. Yeah.
Fuck.
So I agree with that. I have the overlap of Capcom, Sega, FromSoft. I'd say I would definitely add Insomniac, but I would say recently, like something I enjoyed was Shift Up, was Stellar Blade.
Oh yeah. They're on the come up.
Yeah. And again, the only American studio on there is Insomniac.
Yep.
Everybody else dropped the ball. I would agreed with what Tony said too. I probably agreed with the EA thing back then because I was playing the shit out of Battlefield 4.
Yeah, I remember when you were playing that too. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff. I was looking at my game collection. We were asked that again during an episode of Throwdown. We were asked like, "What are your favorite games?" I just looked behind my games like EA. Like most of my games were from fucking EA. It's crazy, man. Yeah. What about you, Manny? Who are your favorite game studios at the moment?
It's the one. It's actually ones that have the most potential.
Yes.
Not so much, not because I haven't played. The only Capcom game I've played played lately is Monster Hunter, and I feel like it's great to have Monster Hunter back, and it's sort of an evolution of the previous one. But I would say that I wouldn't call it my favorite, even though it's a great game. I would say something like Shift Up is because of the potential of what they can do with Stellar Blade or whatever new franchises they have. I would say also I can't remember the name of the Black Myth studio, Wukong studio. Does anybody remember the guys that make Black Myth Wukong? I'd like to see what else that they could. What was that?
Oh no, I'll look it up.
Okay, yeah. So I'd say the potential for them for other games that they could do.
Game Science.
I'd like Game Science. I'd like to see the potential for them again. I would also say Boca Studio, the developers of Slitherhead. Keiichiro Toyama's studio. Again, I'd like to see what kind of crazy ideas that can come from them and. I'd like to see them survive. I don't think Slitherhead did amazingly, so I'd like to see them continue to make games, even if they are a little bit on the jank side. It's okay, Let's see. As far as like the big studios, I'm not really looking forward. Like I can't say any of like the big studios are like my favorites because I just don't have enough games that I've played from them that I'm looking forward to them for them. So yeah, those are my thing. It's more of the optimism of the future of and I kind of want to see what Hideki Kamiya's new studio is going to do. Like obviously they're working on Okami 2 right now, but I'd like to see what they're going to do. I want to see what does his world of creating games look like outside of the Platinum Games universe? Is it him making kind of new crazy titles? Like is he going to start making games that are like little off key things like Mad World or like Wonderful 101 and stuff like that? Is he going to get like into those things? He did say he wanted to make that dragon game, right? On Twitter to no, not Dragon's Lair.
Yeah.
The one that was Scalebound, the one that was unceremoniously canceled. So yeah, that like those I feel are my favorite studios now because of the potential of what they can do as opposed to what they're currently making.
Yeah, and we'll see what Team Asobi gets up to next. I'm really
Yeah,
curious to
that's
see
also
what they do.
an interesting one. Like, what is a Team Asobi going to be just locked behind being Astrobot Studio?
Yeah.
I hope they're not, because I'd like to see them. They obviously know how to make games with a smaller team, pretty much being Japan Studio, just not called Japan Studio. So let's see.
Yeah. Rich, what about you? Who are your favorite game studios at the moment?
Mr. Tony Polanco. That's a phenomenal question. Yes, I said it this time before Carlos does his little sound effects.
There you go.
Oh,
So let me say this. You guys mentioned Capcom. I think Capcom and Insomniac, I would consider them an honorable mention. Capcom has been doing a phenomenal job.
You know?
And Insomniac has been carrying, like you guys said, they've been carrying Sony. But my four, I will say this. Both I would say both Chris and Manny took my pick. I was going to say Shift Up because that Stellar Blade game is fantastic. Looking forward to seeing what they do next. But here are some other ones. I want to give a shout out to Dotemu. I believe that's what the studio is called.
Yeah. They're great.
Yes. Yeah. Streets of Rage 4,
Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge, and they're actually working on that Ninja Gaiden game that they showed recently.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to give them a shout out. I also want to mention Rebellion because I am a Sniper Elite fan, and that Atomfall game is coming out later this month. So yeah, both looking forward to those games. And I will also mention Sabotage Studio. They made Sea of Stars. You guys know that that's a game that I really, really enjoyed a lot when it came out. I believe they are releasing some more content for that, but I'm just curious to see what they do next after that game. But those I will put right now as the ones I'm looking forward to the most. But yeah, definitely got to give Capcom and Insomniac credit because they've been releasing some great games. I'm not going to say Spider-Man 2 PC, however, that was not a success.
No.
But yeah, every other game they release, great. So, but yeah, Capcom, they're on fire right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, an honorable mention for Rich's list is Firewalk Studios.
No, man, absolutely not. But I will say this: if Carlos is going to say that's an honorable mention for me, Carlos's honorable mention will be Naughty Dog because he cannot wait to pick up The Last of Us Part 2 remastered. Yeah.
The remastered remake. Oh man! All right. Yeah, we said from Software Assyrian Force. We said that right from the jump. All right, another one from Mr. Dio. Now I'll read the question, but I'll just preface it with we don't have an answer for this because none of us have played it on these systems. How does Monster Hunter Wilds fare on gaming handhelds? Which device, in your opinion, does it play best on? No idea. None of us have it on PC. Can't take. Even Brian doesn't have it on PC. You know,
Sketch does.
Sketch does.
Sketch.
I don't know if he has a handheld though, but like from the Throwdown crew, none of us have it on PC. So can't answer the question, and I haven't looked into it because I'm good with my PlayStation. So I don't give a fuck how it plays on handhelds. Probably runs really bad, I imagine. But yeah, sorry, can't really answer it.
I mean, it runs fine on PlayStation and PlayStation Pro.
You know, there you go. But good segue to another question from Mr. Assyrian Air Force. It's been reported that PC gaming handhelds have sold about 6 million units in 2022. Is this market niche? As Rich would say, it's a phenomenal question. And I'm glad you ask it because you look at that number, you're like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Like, there's only 6 million people. And mind you, out of that, 4 million have been Steam Decks. So you might be like, damn, people are not buying things. That kind of came to light from Verge and AMD. You know, they kind of put things into perspective. He's like, this category didn't exist 4 years ago. So he's like, we went from nothing to millions of units sold. So basically, they're saying that things are going to grow, and I believe that. And just some insider baseball stuff. When I went to CES last year, I had a meeting with Asus, and I asked them, I'm like, hey, like, did the Ally, it was just the Ally, the Ally X had not come out yet. I said, did the Ally sell well for you guys? And and I can say that because obviously it passed, but off the record, he said it's sold so well, we weren't even expecting this. And sure enough, what happened? 6 months later, they released a follow-up, right? Lenovo, they're now going to have 2 follow-ups. They already have a follow-up. They're going to have 2. So these systems, even if they're not each selling millions and millions and millions, they're selling enough for these companies to go, you know what, this is a good investment. We're going to keep it going. But I do think that's important to remember. This category did not exist before 2022. The Steam Deck pretty much created it. I know there were some outliers like Aya Neo and shit like that, but like it really kicked off with the Steam Deck. So you got to think about it. This is super new shit, bro. So 3 years, that's pretty crazy. I think that's 3 years. My math is bad. I'm a writer. I'm not a math guy.
Did they have numbers sales for 2023 4? Or is it just 22?
Okay, well, hold on. Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna link to the article in the show notes, Carlos, so you can see it. But basically, they said in the year 2022, the only one that sold was the Steam Deck, because the other ones obviously didn't exist.
Yeah.
But let me get this link in here for you. How do I do this? Because it's all truncated. Yeah,
because it was just a Steam Deck at first, and
Yep.
they didn't exactly release with a whole bunch of inventory that year.
No, because things were still a little iffy and shit. Here he goes. I'm reading this from The Verge. Out of those 6 million shipments of all gaming handhelds, the lion's share have been the Steam Deck itself, according to IDC's estimates. They're like a company that kind of keeps track of this stuff. All of the 2022 shipments are for the Steam Deck, and the guy from AMD says that upwards of 50% of the 2023 shipments and 48% of the shipments 2024 are the Steam Deck as well. Doing the math, Valve now shipped upwards of 3.7 million Steam Decks and quite possibly crossed 4 million by now. Yeah, so that's probably correct. So the rest are from other gaming handhelds. And this article says something very interesting that I didn't know about. Apparently, and this is not confirmed, that Windows handhelds have a high return rate. Like a Syrian Air Force, he returned his Ally, because Windows 11's not good for gaming handhelds. So I could believe that. That's unsubstantiated right now, but I could believe that. But now that we're going to have, think about it, the Lenovo Legion Go S is going to have Steam OS on it come April, and that's going to keep happening, other systems. So I think good hardware with the good software, this category is just going to keep getting better and better. These companies will not continue investing in this category if it was failing them. Same thing with MSI. Think about it like this: the MSI Claw did not do very well, but they still put out another one. And they're going to come out with another one still. Acer, they got 2. They got an 11-inch one and a fucking 13-inch with some. No, it was 11 inches is the big one. It's like, what the fuck are we doing, bro? But they're trying. So yeah, I think this category is just in the inception phase. So we shouldn't look at quote unquote low sales. It's not going to sell as much as a PlayStation, obviously. But again, these companies feel it's worth their time to keep investing in them. So I think that's a better way of looking at it. This category is just still too young, but it's exciting stuff.
If they're breaking even with these handhelds, I feel like it would be a win, just because they're still getting their foothold on the market that's still, establishing itself.
Yeah,
but yeah, I checked the link. It's interesting, the sales each year. I mean, we got 2022 was a 1.6 million. 2023 was 2.8 million. That was a huge jump.
Yeah.
And then last year was
huge.
It died down. It was huge. But it makes sense why last year died down, because there wasn't really that major releases. It was, the Steam Deck was already 2 years in. The ROG Ally only had the X, I think, last year, which was kind of like a really small iteration. It wasn't like the next big
it
thing.
wasn't that big. Yeah.
Yeah,
But Carlos, you see the estimates for this year? They're up.
It's up. Yeah. We'll see if there's. It depends if there's any big release. Like, I think, like you mentioned, the Lenovo one.
Yeah.
I think that'll help. I don't know if RG has something in the chamber this year, but if they do, I feel like it might even do better than the estimates say.
Yeah, I'll be interested. I'm wondering because again, a lot of these companies, the ones making Windows 11 systems, they're all laptop manufacturers, and they're used to releasing shit every year. So I don't know if that'll work exactly for handhelds. I think they may want to slow down a little bit. That's just my opinion. But maybe they just want to keep getting these out so they can keep iterating on them or whatever. But look at Valve; they're taking the other way around. I did interview them at CES this year, and they told me that they're waiting for like a big kind of evolution when it comes to, because basically they don't want to put like a powerful chip in the system and then the battery's gonna die. Like they're trying to wait for a chip that only requires like 15 watts of power. Like the current ones are like they need like 30. So they're waiting. Basically, they want it to be between 8 to 15 watts. They're waiting for that sweet spot. Which is where the current Steam Deck is. So they're waiting. And again, they're selling so well, Carlos, they're like, we could chill for a little bit, But at the same time, now games are having problems running on this thing. Like you can't play Indiana Jones on this shit. You probably can't play Monster Hunter very well on it either, Definitely showing its age because it was already kind of aged when it came out,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting stuff, man.
They were initiating the market that there was no other real competitor.
Yeah, exactly.
That's going to be interesting. Hopefully, I'm waiting for them to release something next year. Hopefully, but like they said, they're not really in a hurry to release anything quite yet.
Yeah, they're not in a hurry, and no one's competing with them. Maybe if somebody starts biting into their market share, like, oh shit, Assassin's Creed Shadows was confirmed not Steam Deck compatible. I'm not surprised. It's going to be a big game. All right. The last question of the night. Our old friend Mr. Romudeth showed up asking a question. I'm surprised nobody else in the chat asked because they were talking about it for like a good part of the evening. So the question is
since 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, nobody asked this. Manny, this question is for you specifically, but I'm assuming he would like to hear all our answers. Manny, as a big fan of Hideo Kojima, what did you think of the new Death Stranding 2 trailer?
It's a difficult one because I've said this before. I don't necessarily like the world of Death Stranding, as cool as a lot of the vehicles and things are, and I was looking at this game at least, and it just felt like more of the same. It felt like we're doing the same stuff again, just in a different environment. And to be honest, I don't want to go back. I think I've said this before on another title, The Last of Us. When that 2 came out, I just said, nah, I'm good. So as cool as a lot of the stuff is, I think I'm just going to skip this one.
That's controversial.
Oh, come on. No, past Manny, I am right. I'm not right. I'm dead on this one. I just don't see anything that really that says to me that I want to play this. I'm not looking forward to the work.
Yeah.
And
do you think it's like too depressing or something?
I think the game is too depressing. I think the game is busy work. You know what I mean? Like, obviously they're showing you driving around on a motorcycle and, all that stuff. And they're showing you new environments. They have a day-night cycle and all this other stuff. But at its core, what are you doing? You're just going to be doing the same thing. You're just going to be running past those guys trying to steal your stuff, try to steal your stuff. You're going to essentially work your way all the way up and get the whole world. You're going to get a drip fed little bits of pieces of whatever the plot is. And it's going to be more of the same thing. And I'm not really looking forward to that. I kind of want, Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker and Metal Gear Solid, and Solid V. essentially caused this thing within Kojima where he wants to artificially push the distance of your gameplay and drip feed you these little bits of story. And then also have you do all this other busy work, okay? Because he can't explain it to you, show don't tell. You have to read all these additional things in order to be able to understand the story. That's fine, but I'm sort of getting a little bit fatigue from that sort of a way of gameplay and storytelling.
That's an interesting way of looking at it. I never saw it like that.
Yeah, I mean, like you look at Metal Gear 5. Most of that plot is hidden behind all those dumbass stupid tapes that you can't listen to while you're walking.
Yeah.
Same thing with Death Stranding. You can't read any of those stupid those emails. They send you thousands and thousands of emails that you got to read through, and dictionaries and things to at least get a better handle as to what the Death Stranding is, what the further thing is, what all this other stuff is. Is all this side content, and then if you play the main game, and if you don't know a lot of that stuff, you kind of don't get a lot of it.
We got the emails.
So, yeah. So I'm not really looking forward to it. I'm just going to let this one pass. Maybe OD will be it better. Maybe Fizzant might be better, but I'm not looking forward to be the delivery man again in the post-apocalyptic universe.
Yet you say that, but I'm pretty sure by the end even though you're not going to play it, you're going to know more about the game than the guys who do play it because you're going to watch everything on it.
No, I'm going to watch the shit out of all the damn cinematics. I'm going to do all that stuff, but I don't know. It's just the day-to-day playing it. I just granted, I was like, it's a new experience, but I would have much preferred if Kojima just went out and made a new game. Like, I would have much rather if the next title, whatever it was, maybe be OD over Death Stranding 2, because I feel like it's a tough one for a lot of people, that game. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I felt like that game was a one and done. So
you're saying, Manny, it was a good thing that I was on vacation when the first one came out.
I mean, here's the thing: like you dictate for yourself as to what things that you'll have interest in. But I think for a lot, I was open to it the first time, but I think it wears thin when you end up having to do it again. I don't think that the gameplay, granted, is pretty much like Metal Gear. It's pretty much an evolution of Metal Gear Solid 5, right? That same sort of like thing where you're sort of sneaking. You're not sneaking past people. You're sneaking past ghosts that you can't see, and you have to do all kinds of different little doodads to be able to see them. Very similar sort of gameplay, but they also give you the ability. The game doesn't punish you. Punishes you, but it doesn't punish you so much to where you can't overcome whatever the thing is. And there's consequences for you if you don't do certain things. If you don't sneak past the ghost, okay, you get a boss battle, right?
Yeah.
So, but if you could breeze through the game, if you cover your mouth and you sneak through everything, that's the way I played the game. So I just think a lot of that, I don't really want to do that again. Like even now, like I have because when you get the PlayStation, when you got the PlayStation 5, and then they gave you a bunch of different things, a bunch of titles. They gave you Death Stranding Director's Cut for free, right? So I got that for free, and then you can synchronize them and get all the trophies. So I'm this close to getting another platinum in the Death Stranding for the PS5, which I have the platinum before, but I don't want to go back to it.
Interesting.
Like I'm right at the end. All I need to do is just play some of the racing stuff and do a little bit extra, unlock the new cannons and all that stuff, and I don't want to go back to that because I did it.
Yeah, controversial. What about the rest of you guys? Did you see it? Actually, I'll go next because I'm on the opposite end. Death Stranding was one of the most captivating games I've ever played. Like that was my game of the year that year. And it's crazy because the gameplay is you sneaking around in this dirty ass world, but that game to me was pure undiluted Kojima, no restraints, and I fucking love the overindulgence. Like you could the whole game just felt very Kojima-ish. But unlike Death Stranding, unlike The Last of Us, there was actually a underpinning of hope. It wasn't just all despair. The people that you were playing with were good people. They weren't all these fucked up people. They were genuinely trying to make the world a good place. Yeah, they had their issues and stuff, and there was some weird shit going on, but there was still that underpinning like, hey, if we band together, we can overcome this horrible shit. So I like that message that's in there. So I can't wait. I'm at a point, and I always say this, if I like a game, bro, I just watched the reveal trailer and I'm done. This thing that came out, I'm not watching. Why do I need to watch it? I'm sold. And we're getting this shit on June 26th. Your boy's going to try to get that review code. But hopefully this time I'll be able to talk more about the game than the first 4 chapters. That was the only thing I didn't like about Death Stranding, that I was not allowed to talk in my review. I couldn't talk more than the first 4 chapters. But
that's a leftover. That's a leftover from MGS4 going into 5, where they're afraid to tell you that they have long cinematics.
Yeah, that's what it was. Games. Yeah, but yeah, no. I'm not gonna bother with this because I'm already sold. It's like you sold me. I'm good. But I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be great. Hopefully, it'll perform well on PS5 and all that. There's one other thing I wanted to say about it. But yeah, no, I'm already there, bro. I'm already there. Kojima is one of my favorite game developers. Probably is my favorite game developer because there's nobody. When you play a Kojima game, you're playing a fucking Kojima game. You could tell a singular mind made this, and it's very rare when you get that in games. You used to get that all the time in games. All the time in games. Well, okay, yeah. There's fucking Itagaki. There's Kamiya. You knew that shit. You don't get a lot of that anymore. So I'm very glad that Kojima is out there. Yes, it is absolutely so overindulgent, but I love it. It's so crazy, And Manny, just to point out, as you said, I like the fact that beginning of the summer, we get that motherfucking Death Stranding 2. At the end of summer, we get Metal Gear. So a lot of Kojima-ness going on. I'm happy right now. You get the bookends. I'm happy.
You get the sequel to a resurrected corpse of older games, and then you actually get the resurrected corpse of an older game.
Yeah, and I'm also looking forward to playing Death Stranding 2 to see what it's going to predict for the future. Because Death Stranding predicted the fucking pandemic. It kind of did. We're all locked fucking inside. We got to depend on the postman, but we got to rely on each other to survive. Fucking Kojima, man. I remember he made a joke. He's like, "Oh, I had an idea for another game, but I scrapped it because I didn't want to predict shit again." All right, what about the rest of you guys? What'd you think of that trailer if you saw it? Did anybody else?
I didn't watch it.
I saw the trailer.
All right, what'd you think, Rich?
Well, let's let Carlos go first because it felt like he had something he wanted to say.
I didn't see it because honestly, when you watch one Death Stranding trailer, you've seen all of them.
Whoa!
It's one of it just is what it is. It does the same stuff all the time. But I wasn't too interested in the trailer. Honestly, I don't know if I'm gonna get the game. I didn't play the first one, not intentionally. I did buy it.
You going on vacation though?
I went on vacation and it just, it got lost in the void and I never went back to it. But, if they lost Manny, I mean, you can't expect much from me.
I don't like. Here's the thing. I know I don't understand why people would be surprised about this because one thing, I treat everything. I don't fan. I admire. If I was a fan, I would blindly accept everything that I like, even if it's fucking bad. People like that. They're like, hey, well, it's Dragon Ball Z. I guess I'll buy a Dragon Ball Z. No, it's piece of shit. GT fucking sucks.
Yeah, and you see these fucking assholes are all hype right now because they brought GT back or some shit. Like, okay, bro. You know?
GT
get that trash out of here.
Get that trash out. Like, there are people like they're blind fans where they consistently just keep eating the same garbage, even if it's lousy. They're just like, oh, well, I love this thing. It's great. I'm gonna keep eating it. I'm like, I don't want to know why I keep eating it. I'm like, it's no. If every single thing, if a director goes off the rails, I don't watch any more of their movies. If a game developer goes off the rails, I don't buy any more of their games. And that goes for Kojima too.
Yeah.
Everybody's on the chopping block. If they're not making what I like, I don't want to deal with it.
I mean, that's the reason I stopped watching Marvel and DC shit. I'm like, no, you guys aren't giving me what I want. I'm done. I know motherfuckers tell me, oh, Daredevil's great. I don't care. Not watching it. Don't give a fuck. I'm done. You know?
There's also a point where things become too far gone. I wouldn't say Kojima is so far gone when it comes to making titles. I just don't want to go back into Death Stranding anymore. I'm good. Like the first one, great title, but I don't think I need more of that.
Yeah, that makes sense. To me, it's surprising but not shocking because you're not into super kind of depressing games like that. So that you're being consistent in that case. You know what I mean?
I said the same thing for Last of Us Part 2.
Yep.
I said if there's I'm good with the end of Last of Us. I don't want to I played it once. I'm like, okay, I don't want to play this game again. It's just not something I want to play again. I thought it was a great game, and if they make a 2, I don't want to go back. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to look at it. I'm like, there's nothing unless there's something so amazing about the sequel, but I don't see it. I just see more of the same.
Yeah. Rich, what did you think of the trailer?
All right. Well, first and foremost, that was excellent thoughts by Manny. I understand where he's coming from. You know, when the original Death Stranding came out, I was in a very interesting situation because I was between jobs and I actually was doing delivery work for Uber, so on and so forth. So I would do deliveries, and then come home and play a game where I'm doing deliveries. That was a very interesting type of dynamic, because then I got to see certain stuff I didn't like about doing deliveries, and it applies to this game as well. But I will say this. I saw the trailer. My first question, why the hell does a pre-order trailer have to be 10 minutes long? And then I think about it. It's Kojima. So that's why.
Yup, Kojima. Yup.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in that trailer. It is definitely a very dark, depressing type of tone. So that's why I said I understand where Manny's coming from. I am curious to check it out because some of the gameplay they showed, Sam shooting at people. So becoming more and more like Metal Gear Solid, right? But it's not Metal Gear Solid. So I don't know. But right now, I can say I'm pretty sure I will at least try it out because I'm pretty sure we will get access to it, review codes, etc. But we'll see.
I got a question for you guys.
What's up?
And this is coming from someone that's played a bunch of Metal Gear Solid games, but never really played it like you guys, because you guys, are some of your. I know Tony's 3 is your favorite game of all time.
Oh yeah, man, no life it.
I always felt like Kojima games were always kind of depressing. Like
interesting.
I don't know. They always gave me that kind of feeling. I don't know. Maybe it was just me.
I mean, they're not. I wouldn't call them cheery. I don't know, because to me the game's always had that underpinning of hope.
Like he's always
there's hope in there's hope in the game, but at the same time, it's like everybody's you're doing all these things, and it's like you see changes within the world, but it's all like lonely. Like I don't know, I don't know, I don't want to be in it. I don't want to walk around ghosts. I don't want to shoot blood at goopy monsters. I'm good.
Yeah, because I feel like that's sort of a pattern with Kojima. Like a lot of has he ever made a cheery game?
No, he doesn't really do that.
Oh no, I mean, here's the thing. Like they're light in tone. Like Metal Gear games are somewhat light in tone. I mean, granted, it's an espionage game, but there's a little bit around it. It's kind of like an action movie, kind of like that sort of thing, where it's serious enough to where like an action film. But I mean, yeah, he doesn't really make like cheery games, but they're awfully fun games. And I'd say I had fun with the first Death Stranding, but again, like I just didn't want to be in there. I don't like, this gray world. It's always cloudy. Fucking you step on a ground. Oh shit! It's a fucking ghost, and it's gonna turn you. It's gonna grab you and pull you down into the ground. I'm like, I don't know. I want to deal any of that.
Yeah, what Rich saying, he's played a game about deliveries when he gets home from deliveries. I'm thinking, Rich, you ever run into like black sludge and there's monsters coming after you?
Well,
Like,
no, you know the black.
back on the road.
You know the black sludges, the people you're delivering to, they're the fucking black sludge.
Exactly. Yes, they are the monsters. They are the monsters that need to be very.
You
careful.
never know what you're gonna get. They
Yeah.
ooze out of the ground and get you.
Yeah, but I don't know, Carlos. Like, there's still a lot of goofy shit in those games too, which I also enjoy. It's like, like just random like women's posters and shit, or you sneak somebody like doing some farting or whatever. Like, there's still a lot of goofy stuff in there too, or people just saying these weird fucking lines, Kuwabara, Kuwabara. It's like, what the fuck? That Kojima-isms and shit. Like, wait, what? Where'd that come from?
Well, I mean, all those Metal Gear games have that, but to balance it out with Death Stranding has Jeff Gilly.
Yeah, exactly. That's goofy enough already.
Yeah, then that part I wasn't really a big fan of either, where it's literally like a love letter to all the people that are his buddies. He's got Guillermo del Toro. He's got Jeff Keighley. He's got some performers that he met. It's all like a weird ego trip to all of the buddies, his friends. I'm like, I don't know, man. I just don't. I get it. I get what the meaning of it is. I get a lot of it, but I just don't want to. I don't want to deal with that anymore. I don't want to. I don't really want it.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff Keighley surprisingly is not in that trailer, but I'm sure he will be in the game. So,
I'm sure that you're going to spend some time. You're going to spend some time in the original part of the game. That's how I think this game is going to sort of start.
I always say
the original part of the game where you're going to make it back there, and then you're going to go somewhere else.
I always say, if you see Kojima taking a photo with a celebrity, the celebrity might be in Death Stranding. There's probably a good chance that they'll show up.
Well, I mean, I think I saw Timothy Chalamet in that trailer.
There you go.
There was one point he took a photo with that dude, and I swear this is one part where this kid is walking on the surface of this spaceship thing that's in the game that looks like a Metal Gear head. Anyway, he's walking out on the surface of this thing. I'm like, God damn, that looks like
yeah, Timothy. Yeah.
Muad'Dib, man. That's Muad'Dib right there.
You said a lot deep, Yeah, man. All right, good stuff. Another episode opens up. Oh, go ahead, Chris. Did you see it?
Well, I didn't see the trailer, but I say this: I wasn't. I didn't find myself. I saw some snippets of it. I didn't find myself curious about it, and I got the platinum in Death Stranding.
Nice.
I played it that much, but I don't think I want to do that again. I think Manny summed up what I was thinking just from the little bit I saw. It's like, I don't know if I want to go through that again.
The tea leaves were like slapping you in the face.
That's funny.
I like.
No, you play Torrents.
Looks like a leaf.
What happened?
That's fucking bullshit.
There you go.
Whoa.
Manny, J-Shep says that it feels like you're more into AA games these days.
No, it's not that I'm into AA games. It's just like the way has nothing to do with who's making the game. It's more has to do with if the game strikes me, right? It's not like, it has no real full connection to developers or any of that sort of stuff. It's just if it feels like something I want to play at the time. That's pretty much it. Like I'm not gonna buy if the new Okami game looks like something I'm not interested in. I'm not gonna go pick it up just because I like the game developer that the game director that Hideki Kamiya's games. I've liked his games in the past, but if it doesn't strike me, I'm not gonna pick it up, and that's what I feel from Death Stranding, or I just don't Death Stranding 2. I just feel like don't want to go back into that world again. I just don't like. It's not that I don't like it. It's just that it just seems so oppressive to me. I just don't want to go back there.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff. And I think that'll wrap us up here. Good stuff. Manny, you're looking pretty horrible. So I don't know if you want to plug that comic book right now, but let's see what happens. Yeah, nah. But you just say what it is. You're muted.
Oh.
Anyway, so it's not a big deal, but yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #7 is out right now with a cover by Carl Randolph and myself. Just revealed pretty recently. We had cover 8 and cover 9. So that is Leonardo and Michelangelo, and obviously probably coming soon is the Raphael cover. So you get to see all of them together.
Nice.
And that is coming in the next few months. And then again, end of March, the 26th is Naruto, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Naruto, which Kari and I did a cover for. And I got some other fun stuff that I can't really talk about. Also, very soon, C2E2 in Chicago. I will be there. So you can see me and, hang out or whatever. So I'll be out there doing tables. I don't know what my table assignment is yet, but we'll find out soon. Seems like a couple of people have already gotten them. But anyway, yeah.
Good stuff. All right. Rich, what's going on with the coalition this upcoming week? I love how Adam shows up right at the ass end of the show. But you know what, Adam? What do you have going on at the coalition at the end of this week? We're doing the outros already, bro.
We're doing that. See, I'm trying to double dip, triple dip. Here we go. Just finished recording the latest episode for Reacher. That's what we have coming out on Coalition. So that's been doing great. We love the show. It's fun. It's over the top. Too much craziness. And got some game reviews, trying to figure out what's going on with this WWE 2K25, because this new big feature kind of broken. They're like, the island, this is going to be great. We're going to take all the money from your wallet, monetization. It's going to be fun. And it doesn't work. Well, it's kind of funny when you want to get a haircut in the game and it says it costs $9,000.
That's crazy.
9,000 coin for a haircut. That you get a new hairstyle for your character. That's a lot. And then you go to run to the area to go play a match or whatever, because it's all PvP. That's what this mode is. And it doesn't connect. It has issues. It's still early. This is all early access. A lot of people are still playing. I see these people running around. There's people in the game, but we can't match. I'm there with my son, and we're seeing some guy, and he's right next to me, and he's like making little emotes, like, "Hey, playtime." I'm like, "Oh, great." So should matchmake next to this dude, right? It's one-on-one match. No, it says can't find any opponent. I'm like, I'm looking at a guy right here next to me. It's got problems. And then, as Rick saw, we got this email. I also got it, Rick. They sent it to me too.
Okay.
Yeah. So they were like, "Hey,
we got the emails."
Yeah, we got the emails, and just like that, just like a Spider-Man with Nexus, we got patches coming. And so another patch, but it's not addressing this issue. It says, for people that couldn't get into My Rise. I didn't even get to that part yet. I wanted to focus on your whole new feature of the island. That's what everybody wants to know. That's a big selling point for 2K for the NBA series. And now it's here. So let's see how you did it. And they didn't do it. There you go.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna extend the show a little bit, because Adam, you showed up and now you're already getting questions.
There we go.
All right. So
hold down my question.
Yeah. So we got one from Assyrian Air Force. Adam, are you playing Monster Hunter Wilds on Steam Deck?
I am not, and it's nothing but a Steam Deck version. Right? I just don't play Monster Hunter. I tried playing it a while back on one of them. I don't even know which one. I killed some monsters, and then I saw all this work I had to do. Oh, you got to gather these supplies. You got to do this and that. And I'm like, I got to sleep or play some FC. I don't have time for this. So I guess if I'm playing with friends or something, jump in, maybe. What was that other game you guys kept talking about? And with the sword, I'm blanking on it.
Oh, Elden Ring.
Elden Ring, same thing. Remember, I was like, I'm not doing it. Then it was on a deep sale. I'm like, all right, let me pick up. I played it once. I jumped in. I fought that one big dude that you fight. I leave. Big birds came. They killed me. They pecked me to death. And then I never went back. So maybe I'll jump in the same type of deal. Deep sale. Me and Manny, we high five. We jump in with everybody because he says he's going to get it too. And then we play it. But I don't know. Right now, it's not on there. What I am playing on my Steam Deck, besides all my other stuff that I always play, anything new, is the Spider-Man 2. Because they keep dropping those patches, as I mentioned. They keep patching it. And one day they're going to patch it all up, like a big balloon. And it's going to float up and work. And that's what I'm hoping for, that this Spider-Man, just like The Last of Us, remember that was a hot mess, eventually became verified and now runs great. So I'm hoping Spider-Man 2 gets to that point, and that's what I've been playing. I boot it up, I play a little bit. I'm like, oh wow, whoa, 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 whoa. Hiccup, what? 20 FPS? Oh, you're broken. And then I turned it off.
Yeah.
So,
There's another question, but just real quick, I had to jump in on that. Yeah, Syrian Air Force. When I said nobody on Throwdown is playing Monster Hunter on PC, I meant it. Nobody. None of us are playing it on PC. We're playing it on console. Those of us who are playing it. And Adam, is mad man out because But Adam, I wanted you to answer because obviously, you even said the other reason you don't play Monster Hunter is because you feel bad killing the monsters. I remember you saying that.
oh, it was something we were talking about it, but it just doesn't. I do like seeing the monsters fight each other. I think that's funny, to see like they get engaged. But I don't know, something about it didn't trigger for me.
Yeah,
and I do like killing things in a group. With the Division and Borderlands. I love these type of games. These group effort games. So I don't know. Maybe I'll give it another shot later on.
Yeah, and then the other question for you. This one's from J Shep. What are your thoughts on Battlefield?
Battlefield. It's. They keep trying, man, and I got to give them credit for that. I can't say one thing and then go against it. I always talk about how with consoles, it's good for competition. It's good to have Xbox market. We don't want to see these companies fail because then one becomes king and has a monopoly. Same thing I feel about the shooting genre. I hope it triggers. I mean, they're not listening to us. EA is. They're not listening to us. We want another bad company. Bad Company 3, 4, 5, 6. That was great. Why not bring those in? No, we only got 2, and then they walked away from it. Destructible environments, a unit of ragtag guys just talking smack to each other. No one gets along. It was great. It was a fun game. And no, they keep trying with all these other ones. They tried the live service one. They tried the big open world conquest. They throw all these things at us. Yeah, and with the environments, the last one had, remember, it was like big snowstorms or blizzards, sandstorms, all this stuff. It doesn't seem to be working. Nothing's clicking. So I hope this goes around and it does. We need a good competitor to Call of Duty.
Did you see any of the footage that got? Because I think that J-Shep, correct me if I'm wrong. There's some new footage or something.
There's something they released. I saw some stuff, but I didn't click through it. I saw the comments that something came out and it was like some new development of what the new Battlefield, because they did confirm that they're working on it.
Yeah,
it's in their release, so we know it's happening. But the direction that they're going in, I think they said boots on the ground. I heard a lot of that talk. Boots on the ground.
Yeah, he said they released like a new trailer. Except for like Adam and like Rich, none of us really play these games.
It's games are fun. They have a place. Run around, running gun.
I reviewed one of them. I think I reviewed the 1941 one. It's
1942. That was DLC.
I don't know. I reviewed one of them. It was a main game. Like I was playing at some like
Battlefield 1.
Battlefield 1, yes, because I remember it was like 4 different stories. One of them was like a woman in Scandinavia. Another one was some black French guy in like Africa.
Well, that had one of the best beginnings of any of those type of games because you were jumping into all these different people. And then you're like, I'm going to be a badass here. Oh, wait a minute. Spoiler, everybody. If you didn't play it already, you die. You're playing and then you die and you see the birthday and you see the death. And it didn't matter how well you played. There was one part where I was like, no, I can't die. Restart the game. And then I was like, no, I'm good.
Is that the one where you start off flying in the desert?
No, you were like in some European, like.
You were on the ground, and this is when they're just like coming in after you, and then there's a guy with a blowtorch, and he's just burning things up. And it's like I'm shooting from a distance. Like I'm not the best, but I'm like, I think I got some good headshots in. How is he still moving? And you're supposed to die.
Yeah, supposed to die.
And then you jump into all these other people. That one was pretty good. It's
all right, but I think I gave it a good score too. But I'm not. Those aren't my type of games. Like how Monster Hunter is it for you? Those type of games aren't really for me. It's like you're just a like normal modern day war games. I'm like, can I get some fucking robots or some wild shit or something?
I'll tell you this much. Thanks to the Steam Deck, it brought new life to that Battlefield 1. Yeah. Because if you look on Steam Deck, there's people still playing it, and they're playing it on Steam Deck because it shows you the logo, and it has a good, healthy base because you can play multiplayer, and people are still playing that. So
that's cool.
It worked out, yeah. And so there's people that want to play this. Was it the 8-bit one? There's a bunch of different shooters that are similar to Call of Duty style. Everyone's trying, and I think eventually we'll get a good, solid competitor. I don't think anyone's ever going to straight out beat Call of Duty.
No.
And dethrone them. Like I don't see anyone coming after Fortnite. But we could have a competitor. You know, you could have a run of, you could have a Reebok to your Nike. You know, you
It's
could
a so Reebok or so Nike.
Stay away from the Olympians and knockoffs. You don't want those. You know, get some LA Gears with the lights. You know, but it's good. I'm hoping for them. I'm rooting. And I'll still play it because I like to play all my shooter man games.
There you go. All right, good stuff. Now we'll really do the outro. And Adam, you mentioned something called Conquest. That's a good segue for what I got to talk about. We recorded the latest episode of the Invincible podcast. Not only was this one of the best episodes of Invincible yet, but I would say it's probably the best episode of the podcast we recorded yet. Had a lot of fun talking with all the guys are here, actually. Chris, Rich and Carlos, we talked about the latest episode, the penultimate episode. This shit was like a season finale, but there's still one more episode to go. This shit, again, check out the episode, then go check out our podcast. But this is the specific episode I have been waiting to talk about since we started the Invincible podcast. I'm like, this is the shit that's gonna fuck everybody up, and it happened.
I'm playing catch up. I'm on episode 3
of this season.
Of this season.
Nice.
Season. The relationship between Eve and this one is started. So because you read the books too back in the day. Back in the day. So I'm seeing it. I told Rich before there's something that happens with Eve. There's a big transformation.
All right, let's settle down about this.
Oh wait, no, stop! You're not talking anymore. You're not talking because he's like, it's not a spoiler.
I didn't know that was there.
You're not allowed to say nothing. Damn, Adam, man.
How about those Knicks?
Yeah, there you go.
Over here, losing to the Clippers? Are you?
That's fucking bullshit. That's fucking bullshit.
Tell me about it. Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, CJ Shep's already leaving.
Yeah. He's upset because Jalen can't get it done, but he's in the game though. He's in NBA 2K.
We can talk about basketball. We don't give a fuck. But anyway, Invincible Podcast. Go check it out. It's over on the Coalition's YouTube right now. The Coalition with a K, and I cannot wait until next week, boy. Oh man, I'm looking forward to the episode. I'm not looking forward to waiting all those months. Yes, I had read the books, but I really like the way the show does shit. It's like I like seeing their interpretation and stuff. Very spot on. Like I said, it's like 90% the same. Voice acting's good. Especially I'll give Stephen Young, Invincible himself. I got to give him props. He did a very good acting in this one. I'm not gonna say why, but this dude is talented. I'm just gonna say that. And also Jeffrey Dean Morgan is now on the show, so very interesting.
Oh, we got 2 Walking Dead alum.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. And Rich, what else is going on with the Coalition this week?
Yeah, so real quick, I know Adam has already plugged Reacher. You've already mentioned Invincible. I would definitely encourage everybody to check out those shows. And if you like those shows, please do considering commenting and let us know your thoughts on the show, whether you agree with some things that were said or anything like that. Because, we definitely would like to see a lot of comments on these discussions. Myself, Dana, and Gary, we recorded our last episode of the Power Cast. We will be recording again because there's a new episode dropping later this week. So if you are a fan of Power, the Stars TV show, definitely check out that podcast. And as for the gaming side of things, Adam has already mentioned he's working on WWE 2K25. I am going to be playing some of that with him. We also got to check out Split Fiction. But I actually, right now, have been playing Assassin's Creed Shadows. And that is all I could say. I will talk more about that in the future, but stay tuned for our coverage.
Okay, the fact that you brought that up, that means I could say I have a code as well. So I'll be giving you my thoughts, but I've been having too much fun with Monster Hunter. And Segway Kings, please make sure to check out our Monster Hunter live streams. If you haven't already, we had another 2 epic streams. Lots of fun. Manny joined us, the homie Sketch, who's in the chat right now. But he goes, Plata no power. You already know, son.
Me hungry.
Oh no, I ain't gonna say it.
No, don't say it. Don't say it. By the way, Chris, this is my favorite part of the stream. You weren't there for this one, because you weren't there, and I was like, oh yeah, Chris's life is different now. He's tired because of the kid. And Sketch is like, wait, what? He was like, since when? I'm like, for 5 fucking years almost. She's about to turn 5, bro. Hilarious, man. So it'll be good to get you guys together, man. But you know, Sketch is that homie. But yeah, go check out our streams. We will be streaming again this weekend. Unfortunately, no Carlos action for a little bit. He's going to be going on his Euro trip. You know, your car going on a Euro trip. So that'll be interesting.
Euro trip.
And you're probably renting a Euro
cool,
car.
You know, hopefully it won't turn into hostile. You know, that Euro trip went wrong. You know,
Don't go to those parts. Hey, well, no, he stays in real places, the hotels, those hostels. I think that's shady no matter where you go. I knew a bunch in Manhattan. I'm like, what is that shady crack house? That's not a crack house. That's a hostel. I'm like, looks like a crack house to me.
hey, listen, they're both the same, right? But yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, go check out the streams. A lot of fun. We're gonna have some more, having a blast. You know, it's good to enjoy games again, people. And I think that's gonna do it for us. So make sure you follow Throwdown on Twitch and Twitter. Follow us on YouTube. Check out our Discord and check us out on your favorite podcast app. Links to everything down below. Once again, I was your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez,
See you next time.
Chris Seeley,
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero,
Peace out.
Adam Vale,
Have a good week, everybody.
and Richard Bailey Jr.
Have a good week, everybody.
All right, guys, we'll see you around later.